All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. My name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Mix consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria. But tonight I am running this virtual for my team, or on behalf of my team, the Mixmasters. We are a team of consultants all over Victoria. So just bringing you this virtual to hopefully learn a bit more about the TM6, see if it's the right fit for you, or perhaps even to learn something new to get the most out of your machine. So thank you so much for joining us. I like to keep these virtuals nice and relaxed. So if you've got any questions at all, just pop them in the chat box as we are going. I've got the wonderful Jess and Elise from my team in the chat box tonight. So they will help me by answering any questions as we're going. So yeah, please don't hesitate to ask away. So welcome. Again, thank you so much for joining me. So a little bit about me before we start. I have been a consultant for probably 4 years now, actually. I owned a TM5, the model before the TM6, for about 5 years before I decided to join the team and earn a TM6. I actually joined to earn it, and then I had every intention on taking my free machine and leaving the team with it. But I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about being part of the team, and obviously earning some great commission. The incentives are probably a huge part in me staying. But I really love supporting people and showing them just how the Thermomix can change their lives. So what is the TM6? For those of you who haven't seen it in action before, the TM6 is a smart connected cooking appliance. And what that means is it connects into your Wi-Fi and gives you guided cooking through Cookiedoo, our virtual recipe platform on the screen of your Thermomix. That gives you access to over 90,000 recipes from all over the world. And that number is growing all the time as well. So they're all triple tested recipes. It was about 60,000 when I first joined. So they're being added to all of the time. So as this is an open demo tonight, I have chosen our menu, which you'll see shortly. But as always, if there are specific things you want to see or learn more about, please reach out to your consultant. They would love to help you with your own in-person or virtual demo where you can pick the menu to make sure it is dishes that you would love and you would cook in your Thermomix. So I'd love to know what's brought you guys along tonight. Are you a TM6 owner who is just looking for more ideas and inspiration? Are you here for a host reward? Are you thinking about getting a TM6 in your kitchen? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. And I'd also love to know where you're watching from tonight. Are you in Gippsland like I am, or another part of Victoria, or perhaps from interstate as well? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. So when it comes to the food and the food you cook and eat at home, I would also love to know what is the most important thing to you. So there's a couple of ideas. You probably can't see them too super clearly on Zoom, but a few ideas along here. There's healthy, simple, fast, creative, and saving money. Amazing. Thanks, Alana. Thanks for joining us tonight. I hope this helps. Please, again, ask away in the chat box if you've got questions. So what is the most important thing to you when it comes to food and cooking? Is it one of those things? Is it something else? You can pop in the chat box if you like, or just have a little think about it. I know for me, so I am a mum of 5 young kids and a nurse as well as a Thermomix consultant. So lots happening here. So fast is one that is very appealing to me, and also healthy. I love to know what is in the food that I'm cooking and my kids are eating. So healthy is hugely important to me and a big part of why I love my Thermomix and why I love sharing it with everybody as well. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. I hope this is helpful for you tonight. Keep those answers coming. So what is included? So the TM6 is an all-inclusive price of $2,579 and includes everything you see here. So the Thermomix itself, this is the bowl, blade and lid set. The Varoma, which is the steaming attachment. The simmering basket, which you can use to cook rice or potatoes, veggies, all kinds of different things in there. The splash guard, which we use for our high heat mode. The butterfly whisk, measuring cup, spatula, and a hard copy of our basic cookbook. You may or may not be aware that we have our best ever offer with purchase on at the moment, where you get a whole lot more on top of this, including a second bowl, the cutter and spiralizer, which we are going to see in action tonight, What else have we got? The blade cover peeler, the glider board, which I'll also show you, and 12-month subscription to Cookie as well. So if you've got any questions about that as well, please just sing out. There are a few different ways to get a TM6 in your kitchen if it's something you are interested in. You can join the team like I did and earn your Thermomix with only 3 sales at the moment. Or we do have interest-free options through Zip Money and Hum Finance as well. But we'll go into all that in a bit more detail a bit later. We're going to get to cooking now. So obviously with a virtual demo and the fact that I've picked our menu, we're only going to see a couple of different modes and functions of the Thermomix tonight. It would be impossible to show you it all in only an hour. So there are so many different modes and functions that we can show you. And again, if you want to learn more, just reach out to your consultant. It is what they are there for. All right, so I'm going to head over to my Thermomix now. Second while I get myself organised. All right, so this here is the home screen of our TM6. It has our basic functions of our time, our temperature and speed. So the TM6 is touchscreen. Oops, didn't turn that right. So you just touch what you want to change, or you can press the dial as well. So you can press the dial to skip through, and then you just turn the dial to adjust which one. So these settings are here if you are cooking anything in manual mode. Tonight we're going to use Cookie which is that virtual recipe platform. And that is where it's guided and all set for you. But for example, if you're finding a recipe off the internet or converting your own recipe from a family favourite or anything, you can cook it manually using these functions. If we swipe across to the right, we bring up our mode screen. So again, these are all here if you want to use them manually. When you are cooking with a Cookie recipe, a guided cooking recipe, you'll automatically see one of the symbols come up, which shows you that you are using that mode. But they are here if you wanted to access them. Things like the dough mode, you can access your built-in scales, the cleaning function, egg boiler mode, rice cooker. There are so many different options there. So we're going to swipe back again the other way and we bring up Cookie, which again, that virtual recipe platform. So this looks exactly the same as it would on the Cookie app on your phone or the website as well on your computer. So they're all integrated and they all, look and act exactly the same. So you've got your global search bar and you can scroll down and there's just a few different features, depending on what time of the year, what everybody's cooking and those kind of things. So there's some new recipes on there, a feature recipe which uses the spiralizer, which we're going to see tonight. What else could we spiralize? And then there's the most cooked and all of that. But for tonight, I have, again, used Cookie and meal planned out. Another one of the great features of Cookie is that you can do meal planning on it. So if I go into my 3 little dots up in the top left-hand corner and into my week, you can see the recipes that I have meal planned out for tonight. So we are going to cook the pizza bianca, the lemon pepper chicken with zoodles, and the fruity dream. It's a beautiful combination, delicious meal. So we are going to start off with our pizza bianca. So we're just going to tap that recipe. And then from here, if you wanted to, you can scroll down, check the ingredients. I like to have a little look at the hints and tips if it's a recipe I haven't made before down the bottom. There's the nutrition information, but otherwise we can just hit start cooking. So the first step is just telling us to preheat the oven, which I've already done, and prepare a tray, which I have already done as well. So into the Thermomix now, we are going to place 2 garlic cloves. So just taking the lid off and literally just throwing in those garlic cloves. And 3 sprigs of fresh rosemary. I don't have any fresh at the moment, so I'm just going to pop in some dried. Always remember with guided cooking, it is just a guide. So if you need to change things, there's ingredients you don't have or that you might not use again. I'm not going to use a whole thing of fresh rosemary. So while I don't have any growing in the garden, I'm just going to use dried to save me wasting any excess. So next again, and now it's got it set for us. So 4 seconds, and down the bottom it's telling us to turn the speed select to 7. Just turn that around. And then we're just going to hit next again. So you just keep nexting through and I'll tell you exactly what to do. Show you. So it has chopped up that garlic in that 4 seconds there for us. And now it's just telling us to scrape down the side. So what we're going to do here is just give it a quick scrape down, push all, that garlic and rosemary back down to the base where the blades are. And then we're just going to give it another quick chop just to make sure it's nice and fine. And next again, just telling us to pop the lid back on from 1 step ahead. 4 seconds, speed 7. Yeah, so used to cooking these recipes, I do a couple of steps ahead of where I should be. And now it's just telling us to transfer that to a little bowl and set aside. Out a bowl for that one. So I'll show you. Sorry, that end product there. I'm just going to use my spatula to just scrape all that into my little bowl. So you can see tonight I have my Thermomix on one of the glider boards. So like I said earlier, they come with that big gift with purchase at the moment. And they allow you to move your Thermomix forward, side to side, whatever, while protecting the scales. So the scales on your Thermomix are very sensitive. The TM6 are accurate to 1 gram, and they're the feet of your Thermomix. So you do have to be really cautious not to drag your Thermomix when you're using it, because you will damage the scales. So by using the glider board, it just makes that so much easier and takes out that risk of damaging the scales too. So hot tip for your pizza bianca, so you can't quite see that, is to put some oil in with the garlic and rosemary now, some olive oil. You'll see afterwards that when we make the bianca, it tells us to drizzle the olive oil on the top, but I like to put it in now because it kind of infuses with that garlic and rosemary while we're making the dough. So it's just telling us to set that aside. And now I'll bring that closer again into the Thermomix. So yeah, you just lift up and glide it back and forth. There the scales after moving it around. So into there now we're going to place 220 grams of water. So you're just watching your scales on the left-hand side there. And a teaspoon of raw sugar. And 2 teaspoons of yeast. Next, I'm going to pop the lid back on. And now I've got it set for 2 minutes, 37 degrees, and it's telling us to turn the speed selectors to 1. So 37 degrees is the optimal temperature for activation of your yeast. So just by taking a minute to do this step, it's just going to make sure we have better results with our dough every time. We could, in other recipes, you might skip this step and just use lukewarm water. But yeah, you just obviously don't know the temperature of lukewarm water. It's always a bit of guesswork. So this just takes that guesswork out and makes sure that we're activating that yeast and getting excellent results every time. Is anyone making any breads and doughs at the moment? Yes, yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to get to then. Just put 37 degrees is what they mean when they say lukewarm water. Yeah, but it's absolutely just guesswork when you're doing it just as lukewarm. But yeah, this step, you could add this into any recipe, any bread recipe that doesn't have it, just taking a minute to warm it up to 37 degrees. So I'm not sure, I don't think you can see it super well on Zoom, but there is a small number above the 37 that we've set here. And that is the active temperature of the bowl. So with whatever recipe you're using, particularly when you're making yogurt, this one's really handy because often the recipe will ask you to cool the yogurt mixture after heating it to 45 degrees. And so if you come back to your home screen, you can keep an eye on it there to make sure it does reach that 45 degrees. But right now it is saying 37. So that just means that we've already heated that yeast to 37. So I'm just going to stop it just by pressing the speed selector once, and then just continue on with the recipe. We don't need to go for that extra 30 seconds because we are already at 37 degrees. Does that make sense? If I'm confusing you, just let me know. So into there now, we are going to place 400 grams of baker's flour. This recipe is such a great one. It's so quick and easy, but perfect for lots of different things. You can use it like a bit like a focaccia, as a side dish for any, any kind of pasta or anything like that you want like a bit of a garlic type bread with. You can just use it as a pizza base. It's really, really versatile. 30 grams of olive oil. So again, just pouring it straight in and watching the scales there. One of the beauties of the built-in scales is that it takes extra dishes away from you. You can just pour things straight in. Teaspoon of salt. Pour things straight in without, using measuring cups and all of that. Popping the lid back on. 2 minutes, and this one, I'll just start it and then I'll talk. The wheat symbol is our dough mode. So that is our kneading mode. So that is kneading our dough for us to perfection. So 2 minutes of kneading in this Thermomix is equivalent to about 20 minutes of hand kneading. So I don't know about you guys, but I certainly wouldn't be hand kneading for 20 minutes. I probably would have not made it pre-Thermomix instead. Is anyone making different breads and doughs at the moment? What are you making? Do you do it without a Thermomix, or those of you with a Thermomix? What are you making in it at the moment? Are you making a pizza Bianca or a different pizza, bread, rolls? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. The dough mode is probably one of the most used modes in our house. It gets used for all kinds of things, definitely for the school lunch boxes with rolls and scrolls, mini hot dogs, all kinds of things. Yeah, bread. That's so good to hear, Nikki. Do you freeze it as you make it, or do you just eat it? It just doesn't last that long. I know a lot of people make their bread and then just slice it up and pop it in the freezer there. Because obviously, I suppose I wouldn't call it a downside, but the thing with fresh homemade bread is there's no preservatives. So it's not going to last as long as a store-bought would, but yeah, you are cutting out all those additives and preservatives. So if you need it to last a bit longer, you just pop it in the freezer. And Alana's making lots in her bread machine. Yeah, they are good, aren't they? The rolls. We make lots of cheese and bacon rolls as well for the kids here. What else do we use the dough mode for? It's very, very versatile. Like bao buns, wraps, like tortillas and things. Anyone doing anything different with their dough mode? Right, so that is all finished for us. A bit more patient there. And you can see that is your dough all kneaded up there. So the next step is just telling us to transfer that to a silicone bread mat and divide it into halves. So this recipe does make enough for kind of 2 smaller pizza Biancas. As I said earlier, I have a family of 7 with 5 kids who eat a lot. So I just make it as one big one. So if you're entertaining or your family eats plenty, you can just make it as one big one. But otherwise, yeah, like I said, the recipe tells you to divide it. So I'm just going to tip that out onto my bread mat. If you twist your scales on the bottom of your bowl back and forth, it releases that dough for you. It pops out. You see there's nothing left in there. If there was a little bit caught around the blades, you can use the turbo mode to flick it off. But otherwise, that is done. So we're just going to wrap that up and we're going to rest it while we continue on with our main, and then we'll come back and finish it off shortly. So the silicone bread mats are available from the mix shop. They're amazing if you do lots of breads and doughs and things. Or they are available as a host reward bundled with our oven mat as well. All right, so I'm just going to switch bowls. So I'm going to go back to that. So this recipe does go through the next few steps if you are making it for the first time. It talks you through proofing it, kind of preparing it, rolling it. Well, you don't roll it out. I'll show you afterwards. Chopping it and baking it. So you can next on through that. But for now, because I'm just going to rest it and move on to something else, I'm going to go to the three little dots next to the next and then go to cancel recipe. Just going to confirm that that is what I want to do. And hit yes. So your cancel recipes actually go to your recently cooked as well. So if you go into your three little dots, recently cooked is there. So if you finished your main now and you are going back to finish that pizza bianca, but you want to remember the final few steps, you can go into recently cooked, select where you with the recipe you wanted. You may or may not be able to see there's a little pause symbol at the top. Oops, I did the wrong one. Which means that you didn't go the whole way through the recipe, you stopped it before it was finished. So I can go to that and it's going to ask us if I want to resume it, or restart it. So if you're making it again, obviously you restart, but if you want to resume, it will just take you to where you left off to finish it off. All right, but we'll go into my week and we'll keep moving. And we're going to do the lemon pepper chicken with zoodles. Has anyone got the spiralizer yet? Pop at the chat box and let me know if you have. So again, we can scroll down if we want to. Otherwise, we're just going to hit start cooking. Now, this recipe tells us to pop a bowl on the top of your Thermomix for this bit. I'm not going to do because I'll show you why in a second. But you literally just sit it on the top to then weigh in what you want to do if you're using a bowl. And then it's telling us to weigh into the bowl 600 grams of zucchini trimmed to fit through the feeder if necessary. So I don't know about you guys. I don't actually, my veggie patch isn't running at the moment. Mum life has gotten in the way of that, but my dad has a brilliant veggie patch with enormous zucchinis. So I'm just going to use that tonight. And I think we'll, just that one big one will do us because the kids won't eat the zoot. So I'm just going to do the one and I'll make rice tomorrow night, but the kids are eating it. So I'm just going to just sit it on the top for tonight. And it says to set the bowl aside. And now we are going to set up the cutter with the spiralizer. So I'll just move it back so I can show you exactly what I'm doing. There is a video on the screen of your Thermomix. I'm not sure if you can see that. A lot of our newer recipes, or this is getting added to all the time, have inbuilt videos that just show exactly what it wants you to do. So you can watch that. And it will let you know. Just getting all my parts. So this is the cutter that we use as, I suppose, the basket for the spiralizer. So the shaft goes in first, and that just sits over the top of the blades. Then the cutter bowl goes in, just sits in there. And then this is the rest of the cutter, the top, and this is the cutter disc. But we are not going to use that because we're using the spiralizer. So we're just taking that out for tonight. And then this is the spiralizer attachment. So it's got two different blades, one for making like thinner zoodles, and this one, I don't even know how to describe them. Just help me out here. How to describe them? And then this one for making the thicker ones that we'll see tonight. So you just switch them over when you want to, but if you continue on, it tells us to use, so it says insert the Thermomix cutter shaft, then basket, and insert the spiralizer with thick cut blade. There you go, the black blade. So that's already in there. And then I'm just going to sit that over the top and pop the lid on. And then the cutter just has a different pusher because you just spike it. So this is the one for the cutter. This is the one for the spiralizer. But obviously they come packaged differently, so you know. So next, so now it's just telling us to place the lid into position, which we have done. It's not kind of sitting perfectly now. What have I done? line that up with the shaft. A few seconds there. Okay. So she's telling us to reminding us if you're using multiple zucchinis, you just might need to stop and double check that you haven't overfilled the basket as you're doing it. So if you are using multiple, just stop in between each one if necessary and just double check that it's not too full. So now, again, this is using the spiralizer mode, so you see the picture. So we're just going to pop that in the top, making sure you can see it okay. Just going to spark it with my pusher. And then I'm just going to turn the speed selector and then just, you're not pushing it down, you're just kind of gently guiding it, if that makes sense. So start that. And then you're just going to press the speed selector to stop it. So obviously if you're doing multiple zucchini, then you just take it out, spark the next one and keep going. But obviously, like I said, I'm just using one big one tonight. So, taking that off. And there you can see that spiralized zucchini. And keep going because it's huge. So I thought just for a bit of fun, I'll do a carrot as well, just so that you can see that it does do different things. So I'll just quickly grab that. But while we're playing with the spiralizer, we may as well. Yeah, so if you're using the thinner blade, I'm not doing a very good job of explaining the two different blades, but it's more like those kind of standard zoodles that you would get. So again, you just restart it to start another thing. And stopping it. And you just have to wait for the locking arms to unlock, just a safety mechanism. And it does give you this, like, because it kind of wraps around the base of it, you always end up with a little kind of probably the way I'm going to explain that. And then that is your spiralized carrot as well. So anyway, we'll continue on. That was fun. Always remember, those of you with a cutter as well, make sure you take your shaft out. Far too many people have chopped up their shaft by forgetting to grab that out and then continuing on with whatever recipe they're making. So now it's just telling us to transfer the zoodles to the varoma. So like I said at the start, the varoma is that steaming attachment that's going to go on the top of your Thermomix. Let's get the carrot out of the way. I'm just going to put zoodles in there and just spread them out a little bit. And then season with a bit of salt. So I'll do that in a second. But we're going to move that out of the way. Remove the cutter and the shaft. Place a bowl onto the mixing bowl lid. I've lost my Thermomix lid. And then, which I have already done. So we're going to pop the bowl on the top and then weigh in 600 grams of chicken breast. So you just tear the scales once you put the bowl on the top and then pop your chicken in, which I have already done. So from there, it just tells us to add to that bowl half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter of a teaspoon of ground pepper, and a tablespoon of flour. Stir to coat and set aside. And then into there now, we are again just going to skip this step because my fresh herbs did not last in this heat wave that we had. I replanted them all, but they're nowhere near. So I don't have fresh parsley tonight. So I'm going to use dried, which means that I don't need to chop it up. So I'm just going to next on past this one. So it just tells us to chop the parsley, then set it aside. And now we're going to put in 50 grams of Parmesan cheese, just cut into rough pieces there. Here in the scales again. Throwing that in. Popping the lid back on. Next. Oops. Went a bit too fast for myself there. And then 1 to 2 pieces of lemon peel without the white pit. So just throwing that in there as well. Now popping the lid back on. 10 seconds on speed 10. So Zoom will mute me out for this because it will be, yes, Jess, take the shaft out. 10 seconds on speed 10. It'll be noisy, so I'll see you in 10 seconds. And then we're just going to put that aside as well. So I'm just going to pop it, where'd I put that back in the bowl that I had the parmesan in before. So you can just see that all grated up there. A couple of bits of the lemon peel did stick to the side, but that's okay. So again, that's just that parmesan and lemon. And then we're going to put into the bowl now 25 grams of olive oil, 2 garlic cloves, again, just whole garlic, 150 grams of leek. I'm just using brown onion because that's what I've got. I'm a big believer in like using what you've got and not buying extra ingredients, or, you know, that guided cooking is just a guide. So my groceries aren't going to come in time for tonight, so I'm just using brown onion instead of leek. It will change the flavour a little bit, but it will be perfectly fine. 3 seconds on speed 5 to chop those up. Next again. Now we're just going to take the measuring cup out and just set the simmering basket on the top. So that just helps the steam escape while it's cooking. So 5 minutes, 120 degrees, and turning the speed selector to 1. So 120 degrees is like our kind of saute temperature. So yeah, you kind of just mimicking like if you were sauteing that in a frying pan, except your hand's free to do anything else you need to do. So I'm just going to, again, use that glider board to slide that back. And then I'm going to bring our pizza bianca back. Those of you who know me will know I'm obsessed with the silicone range of bakeware from the Bit Shop, and the silicone trays are my new favourite, new obsession. Because you don't need to use baking paper, you don't need to use like the silicone mat. They're super easy to clean. No olive oil or anything on the mat. You can just pop whatever you're cooking straight onto them. And they go in the dishwasher too, which is amazing, which is what we all need, isn't it? So once your dough has rested for that 15 minutes, then if you want to, you can divide it in half and make 2 pizza biancas, or pop one in the fridge for tomorrow night, or even freeze half of it for another night. But otherwise, you're just going to start kind of working it out. So if you wanted to, you could use a rolling pin, but this recipe is a great one for just quickly pushing out. So yeah, your doughs and things are perfect for popping in the fridge or freezing. All you need to remember when you're doing that is to bring it back to room temperature before you're using it. So you kind of just need a bit of, I suppose, forward thinking or planning to make sure that you've allowed enough time, because it can take a little while for it to defrost and to return to room temperature before you want to work with it, whether you're making like something like a pizza bianca or bread, rolls, that kind of thing. All right, so press that out. I like to just push into it, give it a few little divots for your olive oil mixture to go into. Yeah, same, Jess. But I recently got the trays actually. I saw somebody else using them, and then one of the things that, like I said earlier, is my favourite thing. So this is that garlic, rosemary, and olive oil mixture. So I'm just going to pour that up. I think most of our favourite things about being a consultant is all of the incredible incentives that we earn. And recently we were very lucky to earn quite a substantial Big Shot voucher. So I managed to get myself some extra bakeware, including these trays, and yeah, absolutely love them. So you're just going to push out that mixture. So yeah, if you're following the full recipe, it does say to spread the olive oil and garlic, the rosemary and garlic first, and then drizzle with the olive oil. But yeah, I just add the olive oil in with them, and I find that works out beautifully. Excuse me 2 seconds, I'm just going to wash my hands. And then we are just going to pop a bit of salt on the top. And then we're going to pop that in the oven. And I'm going to go back to my home screen and so little dots my week. And then bring up that pizza Bianca recipe just so I can double check how long to pop it in the oven for. So I'm just going to scroll down. So it says drizzle and then bake for approximately 10 to 20 minutes until lightly golden. I, as a general rule, find it's on the lesser side, but obviously it just depends on your oven. Be perfect timing to finish that. All right. So this has got about a minute left on that. So when you're in a recipe, because I went out of the recipe to look at this one, if I just hit that green recipe book at the top, it'll take me back to where I was. So you can, like I just did, get out of kind of the cooking page to use your Thermomix in any other way if you wanted to at the time. I mean, while you're cooking, you can scroll to the right and see those modes. You can access Cookie-Doo. You can pick your dessert by accessing Cookie-Doo while you're cooking your main. You can, check your week, all of those things, do a bit more meal planning. And always just that green button to go back to your cooking screen. Any questions at all, guys? Please feel free to pop them in the chat box if we can answer them as we're going. Okay, so next it's just telling us, so I'm going to carefully take that simmering basket off, taking the lid off, and now it's just asking us to add that chicken. Just going to pop that directly in there. Just going to make sure that it's spread out evenly so that it cooks nice and evenly as well. Next again, 40 grams of lemon juice. I'm just going to squeeze in that lemon that I peeled earlier. Oh. Did you guys see that squirt across the room then? Be cleaning the lemon juice off the pantry door later. And again, that one went in my face. Now I'm blinded by lemon juice. We're a little bit less, but that's fine. I'm not going to chop another lemon for that. Oh, excuse me for a second. I've got lemon juice in my eye. I'm just going to add my dried parsley that I would have used fresh for here. And then 100 grams of water. Next again, a teaspoon of chicken stock. And then we're going to pop the lid back on, the simmering basket back on. Next again, now it's got 10 minutes, 100 degrees, and turning the speed selector to it's called spoon speed. but essentially that's just the slowest speed. It's just like a stirring speed, really, like you would if it was kind of you're stirring it gently on the stove at the same time. You might also be able to see there's a backwards arrow there. That is our reverse symbol. So that just means that our blades are running in reverse at the moment. So our blades on our TM6 are sharp on one side and blunt on the other. And so when they're in reverse, they're just stirring and they're not kind of risking chopping anything because they're stirring with the blunt side. All right, while that's cooking, just bear with me for 2 seconds while I turn your screen. I'm actually going to pop over to my other Thermomix. Sorry, just hope I don't make it easy for a second. Straight, that you'll be right. So again, one of the beautiful things about being a consultant is all of the incentives you earn. I'm very lucky to have 2 Thermomixes because of that. We're actually all working towards earning another Thermomix at the moment, a sparkling white Thermomix, which is a limited edition that's only available for consultants. And you may or may not have heard that soon we will have the opportunity to earn the TN7, which is coming, which is very exciting. New consultants can earn it too. So if joining the team is ever something you've thought about, it's a really great time with that opportunity to earn a TN6 and or a TN7 as well. So we're going to make dessert while dinner's cooking. Nice and quickly, we're going to make the Fruity Dream. So the Fruity Dream is a bit like a fruit ice cream, super quick and easy to make. And again, it cuts out those additives and preservatives. There's only 3 ingredients and you'll have it whipped up from scratch in no time. So again, scroll down if you want to, but let's just start cooking and get into it. So into the bowl, we are going to place 80 grams of raw sugar. So you can adjust the sugar as well. I probably should have been, but I didn't really think about it. You can cut it back a little bit if you've got some beautiful kind of fresh fruit, those kind of things, and if it's sweet enough, or you just want to cut the sugar back and the kids or your food. You can halve it, quarter it. You could even leave it out if you wanted to. But then we're just going to hit next. Pop the lid on with the measuring cup. Fine. Put dishes everywhere here. And now I've got 10 seconds on speed 9. So again, this will meet me out. I'll see you in a second. We're going to hit next. I don't know if you can probably can't see from there, but the steam from steam. There you go. It's like that icing sugar smoke kind of thing. Haze. So in that 10 seconds, we have, I'm at the wrong angle now, milled that raw sugar down to more of like an icing sugar consistency. So again, one of the ways you can save money with the TM6 is by not purchasing extra ingredients, like we have talked a little bit about, but things like your different variations of your sugar, you can make yourself with only raw sugar. So you just mill it for different lengths of time to make icing sugar, caster sugar, all of those things. So I'm going to head there, but we're going to put in the butterfly whisk next, and that just sits on the top of the blades and twists a little bit. And then we're going to pop an egg white in. So adding that straight in. Next again. Now we're going to put the lid on without the measuring cup. And now 1 minute, 65 degrees, turning the speed factor to 4. So with this step, we are just cooking that egg white down. There was a variation of this recipe that used to use raw egg white, but now we've figured out that we can just cook it down quickly, and it obviously makes it safe for people with pregnancy or that we're worried about perhaps eating raw egg white. Any questions at all, guys? You've been very quiet for me tonight. Yes, yeah, Jess makes brown sugar, just with sugar and molasses in her Thermomix. Another great way to save money. So like I just milled that icing sugar, we can mill all kinds of different things with our Thermomix to, again, save money if we want to. So things like almonds. You can mill down to almond meal. What else could you mill? Has anyone got any other ideas? Jess, Zoe, Elise, what are you guys milling with your flour mix? Rice flour, yeah, good one. So you can mill rice down into rice flour. That one's a big money saver because a lot cheaper to buy rice. So now it's just telling us to scrape the egg whites off the blade so that you can see that that's cooked down a little bit there. So we're just going to make sure we get it all by just giving that a quick scrape, make sure it's not stuck on the blades. And then we're just going to give it an extra minute there quickly. Yeah, absolutely you can, Alana. Definitely make alternative milks. You can make almond milk, coconut milk, yeah, oat milk. Absolutely. Tell me, I'm going to use mixed berries for our fruity dream tonight. If you're going to make fruity dream, like a fruit ice cream, and you had to use some frozen fruit, what flavour do you think you would make at home? We love frozen berries here. Yeah, mango is probably a close second here too. So obviously at this time of year when like berries and things are in abundance, even mangoes sometimes, you can just freeze your fresh ones and freeze them in what 500 to 600 gram lots, and then you'll have the perfect amount for your fruity dream when you're looking for a treat, a nice healthy treat. So now it's just telling us to remove the butterfly whisk. We do need this again, so just pop it to the side. And I'll show you there. That has cooked our egg white down there for us. And now it's telling us to add in our frozen fruit. I'm just going to grab my berries out of the freezer. So it says 600 to 650 grams in this recipe. As a general rule, I always use just a 500-gram bag. I'm not sure about the other consultants on if they're the same. But I always just use just a straight 500-gram bag and it works perfectly. So don't be worried if you've got a little bit less. And if, again, you don't need to buy just a guided cooking. You don't need to buy extra just to make up that little bit more. So next again, now again, there's a little video here, but it's just telling us to insert the spatula while the Thermomix is running. So your spatula has a guard on it here. So that means we can pop it in the top. So you can't really see. I'm worried I'm going to upset my holder here because I did that last session I did. So you can pop it in the top and help guide the chopping, but it won't hit the blades because you've got that guard on there. I'm losing my words now. So we've got 1 minute, and this is our blend symbol. So it says, with the aid of the spatula until a creamy consistency, turn the speed selector to start. So this again will be noisy. So it'll meet me out. Jess and the girls are in the chat box. So if you've got any questions, they'll answer them during this minute for you. Zoe, I love that tip. That is a great idea to pop all of your kids' half-eaten fruit, chop it up and pop it in the freezer bag. It is a great idea to use for recipes like this. Now, I'm just going to confuse things very slightly for a second by flipping back to our main just to get our last step of that going. Now, I'm probably running about 5 minutes late, so we'll probably finish about 9:05. If you can bear with me for that 5 minutes, I'd really appreciate it. But we are very much nearly finished. So into there now, we are going to place 250 grams of cream. I'm just going to grab that out of the fridge really quickly. You could, if you wanted to, if you're trying to keep this dairy-free or anything, you could use like a coconut cream instead. Again, obviously it will change the flavour a little bit, but if you can't have dairy, it's still a good option. Half a teaspoon of paprika. Half a teaspoon of salt. Oops, missed that one. A quarter of a teaspoon of pepper. And then we're just going to add half of that grated parmesan. So that, remember that stuff, that parmesan and lemon we did at the start. So just adding about half of that back in now. We just use the other half to serve it at the end. So now we're just going to pop our varoma with our zoodles on the top for this last 5-minute cooking time. So we're just layering up that varoma on top of our Thermomix to steam while it cooks. So 5 minutes varoma temperature and turning the speed selector to start. All right, we'll go back over here, sorry. All right, so we've done that blend. Take the off and just show you quickly. So that was that bag of frozen mixed berries, all blended up there beautifully. And that's just telling us to reinsert the butterfly whisk. So it is a bit harder to reinsert when you've got a bowl full of ingredients, but you just kind of give it a wiggle in, feel for the middle, for that middle of the blades, and pop it in there. Next, popping the lid on with the measuring cup this time. And now again, we've got 1 minute. It says turn the speed selector to 4. And if necessary for a soft and smooth consistency, you can prolong the time a little bit. So I feel like Zoom will probably mute me up for this because it will be a bit louder. Butterfly wasn't on properly there, so I'll just open that and fix it. You could hear it flick off. But in saying that, it did allow me some space to be able to see in properly. So at any stage, if you need to stop what you are doing or you want to stop what you're doing, you just press the speed selector once. And no matter what you're doing, that will stop it at the time. I'm just getting our pizza Bianca out while that's going. So I think everything is looking perfect at the one time. We've nailed the timing, other than going 5 minutes over. Organise that off camera for a second. All right. So now it's just telling us to remove the butterfly whisk and serve. So such a huge mess there. That is our fruity dream. How good does that look? Beautiful and fluffed up there. like I said, is a lovely kind of fruity ice cream. Perfect for the kids after school or a little treat for everybody. Nice and healthy, 3 ingredients, and super quick and easy. So I've got about 2 minutes left on our main. So I'm just going to quickly come back to you guys on my other screen and just quickly finish off a little bit of my little flip chart. Don't mind me with my very professional setup here. And then we'll serve everything up and we'll be all done. Thank you. I loved it too. I was trying to work out how I do it tonight with a little less room. I've set up differently than normal. And I was like, hang on, I'm quite tall. So on top of the Thermomix is a perfect height for me. Saves me trying to find some extra space. All right. So like I said before, we have seen a few of the different modes and functions tonight, the chopping, the steaming. We've seen obviously the spiralizer. What else have we seen? The whipping, milling. Quite a few of them actually we managed to fit in there, but there are so many other different ones that you can see. So please, if you want to, reach out to your consultant and they would love to help you with those. So we've talked a little bit about Cookie Do tonight, but it is that virtual recipe platform. It is a subscription service. So it costs, well, you can get a 30-day free trial at any stage. So if you're thinking about a TM6 but aren't sure that there's enough kind of guided cooking recipes to suit you and your family, I highly recommend signing up for a 30-day free trial. You can have a good play with it. Make sure there are recipes that would suit you and your family. You can play with the meal planning. You can play with the ordering of groceries through Woolworths online. You can do all of the different things, create your own collections, like folders of recipes to try, all of those things. So yes, you can do that at any stage. When you purchase the TM6, you do get 3 months free subscription with it. And like I said earlier, at the moment, as part of that mega bundle with purchase, you get an additional 12 months. So that is on top of the 3 months. And then it is $89 a year after that. So that works out to be less than $1.72 a week, and includes everything, all of those recipes that you see. It also includes any software updates on new modes that are released, and all the recipes, cookbooks and things from all over the world. So again, we've only seen 3 of the Cookie Do recipes tonight. When you want to see more, reach out to your consultant and they will help you with your own cooking experience. So, we can really tailor it to your likes, dislikes, allergies, intolerances, all of those things. And you can pick up some of our awesome host rewards too. So the bread mat and the oven mat bundle are one of my favorites, but the thermo servers are amazing as well. They are perfect for keeping your food hot or cold for around 2 hours. So you can even collect them all if you want to. Host multiple demos. It helps you learn the most, get the most out of your machine. And then, you can collect those host rewards along the way as well. So have a little think about who in your network might be interested in seeing the Thermomix in action. It's all right if they already own a Thermomix, as long as you have at least one non-owner there. It's often good to re-inspire those owners, give them some new ideas, help them learn something new as well. And then, just invite a couple of non-owner friends too. And when you purchase your Thermomix, you essentially get your consultant with it. So they are there to help you with everything and anything you need. We know I completely understand that looks differently for different people. But we are there to help you from day one. So getting set up with your Thermomix, you can cook a stock paste together, unbox it together if you need to. And then your delivery demo is the perfect way to get started. It really gets you set up, and then, you can invite a couple of friends around, grab a host award, and have your first cooking experience that way too. And then, like I said earlier, you can host as many demos as you want to get the most out of your machine, and all those host rewards too. It's really important to us as consultants that you love and use your Thermomix as much as we do. We completely understand that it's a really big investment. So we do want we are here to help support you to get the most out of that investment. As a team, we also run lots of virtual demos like this one and cooking classes as well, which you are all welcome to at any stage as well. Your consultant can keep you updated with our March ones if you just let them know. So thinking back to what we talked about at the start, what appeals most to you when it comes to food and cooking, I'd love to know if what you chose, and if you think what you've seen tonight might be able to help you with those things. So if healthy was important to you, do you think tonight what you have seen would allow you to cook healthier foods, perhaps save money, save time in the kitchen? Have a little think about it. Pop it in the chat box if you're willing. So how to get a TM6 in your kitchen. Like I said earlier, it is an all-inclusive price of $2,579. My favourite way is to join the team and earn it like I did. At the moment, you can actually loan a machine and start earning it with only 3 sales. After the third sale, it is yours to keep, free of charge. And then you can continue on, or you can also step down as a consultant as well. There are also payment plans through Zip Money, which is 24 months interest-free, through Hum Finance. We have our own Easy 3 option, which is like a take-home lay-by. We also have Afterpay and, of course, a one-off payment option. So I won't go into all those details tonight, but please reach out to your consultant if you want a more thorough breakdown of those. And if you are a TM6 owner and you are interested in joining our team, we would love to have you. You can join and start earning commission from your first sale instead of earning a TM6. And like I said earlier, you can also start earning that TM7 straight away too, which is very fun. So that is pretty much us covered for tonight. If you haven't already, check out the Mix shop. Please sign up to the Loyalty Rewards program. You will get a $15 welcome voucher with that, our My Mix Rewards. And there are so many incredible products in the Mix shop. You will absolutely love it. I think that's pretty much all of that stuff covered. I reckon we will serve up dinner. So like I said earlier, we do have that incredible offer with purchase on at the moment, which is also includes, sorry, I'm just going to switch up so I can talk at the same time. That TM6 offer with purchase includes obviously the full Thermomix, the second bowl set, which you've seen how handy that is tonight through me swapping and changing through our different bowls, the cutter, the spiralizer, the glider board, and 12 months free subscription to Cookbook. So it is over $1,000 worth of products free with your Thermomix. So we are going to serve up. So I'm going to add our cooked zoodles, trying not to steam up the camera too much. They're too long, they're hard to. And I'm not going to be able to tip that to show the camera, so I'll just have to serve it as I go. It's too full and I'll spill it everywhere. Oh, maybe I can. Can you see that? So that's that lemon chicken mixture. It smells amazing. And then just adding some extra sauce. So like I said, you could serve this. My kids are children and they won't eat the zoodle. So we'll be having this. Oh, sorry, I've done that. We'll be having this tomorrow night for dinner, but the kids will just have some rice with the lemon chicken. And topping it with some parmesan. Then I'm going to grab our pizza bianca to have with that as well. Is coming here. See that beautiful fresh bread. So like I said, kind of a little bit focaccia like really. Pop that on the side, and then we will also have some of our fruity dream with it. I'll just take my computer off my stand there so I can access the fruity dream. And I want to show you how beautiful and thick, because I think it's deceiving, the fruity dream is. So it's a real like thick, almost ice cream like consistency. And absolutely delicious. So there you go. In about an hour tonight, with lots of talking from me, we have made that lemon pepper chicken with the zoodles. We're using our spiralizer, a pizza bianca, and our fruity dream. What do you think? How does that look? Would that do you for dinner, do you think? All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed tonight's virtual. I hope you've learned something new. I hope it's helped you decide whether February is the right fit for you. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to your consultants, but they will be in touch with you tomorrow to see if you've got any questions or if there's anything they can help you with. But again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope to see you at another one of our virtuals soon. Thank you so much. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat box. Feel free to come off mute, whatever.